Hello everyone, this is the Mobile Beauties Peperempe Gele. So here we'll be styling and learning Ace Gele with rose. So I've pleated about 6 steps with the ashoke, and that is what I placed on the model's head, and I'll be rearranging the pleats on both sides so that it comes out better and defined. The ashoke was divided into 60-40 ratio. That is 60 is the long end, while 40 is the short end. So I'm rearranging the pleats on both sides so that my pleat comes out finer and well defined. After which I'll tell the model to place a hand to hold for me while I cross at the back. So don't forget that it's advisable that you cover both ears when you are placing your ashoke on your model's head or your client's. It helps to secure or to make the gele tighter till you are done tying, so that the gele doesn't fall out while you are still working. So while crossing at the back, the short end goes up while the long end comes down. So which is the 60 and which is the long end comes down, then the short end goes up. So if your pleat is not well placed at some point, you can go ahead and rearrange. If it's too wide, you can bring them together. If it's too close, you can separate, just as you can see. So we'll be working with the long end first. We'll cross up the long end. If there's any folds that comes up as we cross up, you clear it out, just as you can see in the video. Then we flatten the ashoke like that so that we can start picking our pleats. The pleat must be picked from the center and run down into the root. It's advisable that when you are picking these pleats, ensure that you pick the pleat on a straight line. Avoid every slanty pleat, because if the pleat is slanty, it will give a fan shape at the end of the day. However, we are not achieving fan gele in this style, so that is why we need to pick on a straight line. And when we are picking, don't apply too much of energy, just pick gently and ensure that it's on a straight line, so that we can have an accurate pleat at the end of the day, and a well-defined pleat. The ashoke is a 4-layered ashoke, and each layer can take minimum of 4 pleats and maximum of 6 pleats. So you can take tiny pleats that can give you 6 pleats, or you take a wider pleat that can give you 4. So per each layer, you can pleat minimum of 4 and maximum of 6 pleats. So that is how we'll keep pleating one after the other till we are done with that ashoke, the 60 inches ashoke. So we'll keep pleating gently like that, one after the other, and ensure that the pleat falls on top of each other. Don't separate it too much. Ensure that it is very, very close to each other, if not on top of each other. So this is the way we go about it. So this is how we keep pleating on top of each other till we are done with the 60 hand of the ashoke. try as much as possible and pleats on the straight line, and let your pleats stay on top of each other or very close to each other, so that it will be easy for you to put together. So that's about the last pleat there, after which I will now bring the pleats together and then build it on top of each other. If any pleat seems hidden, you can stroke a finger, just as you can see there, stroke a finger in between the pleats to bring it out. It makes it more defined. So that is, placing the pleats on top of each other. You bring the pleats together and allow it to stay on top of each other. It is when you pleat on a straight line that you can achieve what you are seeing presently. So try as much as possible to avoid picking a slanty pleat. So while I use two fingers to hold the pleat down, I'm using the other finger to rearrange the pleats on top of each other. And as I do, I keep dressing it out little by little. As I arrange the pleats on top of each other, I keep dressing it out little, that is pushing out little by little. So this is how we keep pleating on top of each other. We keep pleating all the steps on top of each other. Try as much as possible to be patient about it and lay them appropriately on top of each other. So as you do, you push out a little by little. As you are pleating, you push out like that, little by little. Just dress it out little by little. Then proceed down to keep pleating on top of each other and push out again, just as this. Once your pleat is taken on a straight line, pushing out and getting appropriate space in between your steps will not be a difficult thing at all. So that is why it's advisable to pleat on a straight line while picking your pleats from the very beginning. So if any pleat seems hidden, just stroke a finger in and dress it out one after the other. So I'm still rearranging by pleating the steps and building them on top of each other. If you have been tying around Gele very well, I'm sure this will not be new to you at all. And as you push out, if you notice that any pleat is getting rough, it shows that that very pleat is stressed, so you don't push that very pleat again. So that means that don't over push. Don't over push. Little at a time does it. So once I get to the hair side, once I arrange and get to the hair side, I put a stop to this arrangement, because that is where we'll be creating our rows. The next thing is to hold all the pleats together at that angle that is close to the hair. Hold all the pleats together with an office pin. It's not so compulsory you hold together if you can handle the pleats by yourself. But what pinning does is just to save us the stress of rearranging the scattered plates and all that. That is very close to the hair, just as you can see there. So the other hand that the model has been holding, which is the 40 ratio hand, remember from the beginning we divided the ashoke into 60/40, so the 60 length is the what we've been working on, that we created the full plate with. So this is the other hand, which is the 40 hand. So I'll just twist it from the root to the tip, then cross it up at that angle, while I use office pin to hold it at the back also. So that's how to pin at the back. You can pin at 2 different spots at the back in order to hold that hand firmly. It's advisable you pin at 2 different spots so that it holds it firmly. Then after pinning at the back, you just come to the front and pull out your pleats again, because there's a possibility that when pinning at the back, the pleat must have deflected. So you just pull it out a little and rearrange it by dipping a finger, stroking a finger in between the pleats, and dress up like that. Then I'll bring the excess end of that pleat from the back to the front to create the rows. It's very simple to create rows. All you just need to do is to roll it. As you are rolling it, you see the beauty come out by itself. Just keep rolling it neatly like that. If you don't want your rows to look as big as what we have, it's not so big, but if you want to create a smaller rows, you can reduce the length of that hand that we made 60 inch. Remember from the beginning we divided the hand into 60/40. So if you want a smaller outcome, you can actually do 50/50 division. So once the definition of the rows start coming out, once you start seeing the beauty, then you start using your pin, your office pin, to hold down at every point that you feel is needed. Then you keep pinning, you keep arranging and pinning down every spot that is needed as you create the rows. While creating the rows, you need as many office pins as possible close to you. So as the beauty is coming out, as the rows is getting defined, while dressing it, you pin down every spot that you feel is needed to hold it firmly. Ensure that no part of the rows is loose. It's better to hold it tight and firm and pin down so that it doesn't lose out at the end of the day. So after creating the rows, we'll go to the other side of the gele and pull out excesses also, in order to make our pleats much bigger than it is and a bit more defined than it is. There's always allowances to pull out from this side, so just pull a little and dress upward. Stroke a finger in between the pleats to dress it out one after the other again. When you stroke a finger in between the pleats, it helps to bring out all the hidden pleats and make the pleats more defined and more obvious. And as you arrange like that, you just push up slightly, push the pleat up slightly as you arrange, little by little like that. Ensure that you arrange the pleat to its very roots, as you can see in the video. Then push up slightly. As you push up, you will see the ace shape coming out gradually. Then we will use our fingers later to dress out the ace. Ensure that you did not spare any pleat at all. Make sure that every pleat is well defined and is not hidden. I hope you are learning one or two things from this style. Then push backward if the placement is not where it's supposed to be, that is the hairline. Push a bit backward and rearrange the pleats afterward. Then use your two palms to dress up that topmost in order to form our ace shape. Then you go to the back to either cover the back or open up, but I will advise that for this style it's better you close up. So guys, this is the final result of our ace shape gele with rose, and I hope that you have learned one or two things from this class. Thank you so much for choosing the Mobile Beauty's Peperimpe Gele workshop.
Baby, you're a miracle, my life.
NigerFlavor.com.
Bang bang, bang bang bang, bang 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 bang.
Spiroch Beat.